A very big hello to a place where we've done very well, Sioux Falls. Thank you very much, Sioux Falls. And thank you. So, Sioux City, let me ask you. Our First Lady hates it when I do. She says, darling, I love you so much, but this is not presidential when you do the weightlifting. This is not presidential. Or when you do the swimming thing, it's not, and I understand. Or when you dance off the stage. She said, sir. No, she said, darling, I love you. I love you, but this is not presidential.
With increasing frequency, Donald Trump is descending into visible confusion on stage at his rallies. Most recently in Iowa, first not knowing what city he's in, to the point where an aide has to remind him that he's actually in Sioux City, and then suggesting in a story that definitely totally happened that his wife began an interaction with him by calling him sir, as wives famously do. And by the way, if you needed any more proof that the last 6 years of Donald Trump's fawning stories about people approaching him saying, sir, we love you, sir, I named all my children after you, sir, sir, you're the best thing to ever happen to this country, sir, are completely fake, it's the fact that Trump is also claiming that his own wife did it. And look, is it major political news that Donald Trump embarrassed himself on stage? Of course not. It's pretty much a day that ends in Y. But the reason that I cover this stuff is pretty simple. Trump and his mouthpieces have spent years claiming that Joe Biden is in the throes of cognitive decline. And yet, while Biden is busy overseeing the U.S. response to not one, but two major international conflicts, the strongest recovery in the G7, record job growth and GDP, and historically low unemployment rates, Donald Trump doesn't know what city he is standing in at any given moment. But sure, it's Biden whose brain is broken. Got it. And I want to be clear, this isn't the only time in just the last few weeks that Trump has descended into confusion on stage. Take, for example, Donald Trump, a grown-ass man, making the discovery that the United States' initials also spells the word us.
This is on our business. Why are you doing that? He said, Macron, nice guy. Look, he's for France. I'm for us. I'm for us. You know how you spell us, right? You spell us, U.S. I just picked that up. Has anyone ever thought of that before? I just picked that up. A couple of days I'm reading and it said us. And I said, if you think about it, us equals U.S. Isn't that? Now, if we say something genius, they'll never say it. We get 25, 30, 40, 50, 80,000, 100,000 people to speeches. They've never said Trump's a great speaker. Never said, I've never heard it. I said to my people, do you think they'll ever acknowledge I must be doing okay? Except I'm a very handsome person, so I guess a lot of you want to sit. They want to sit and look at me because I'm so, like a beauty pageant. No, it's amazing.
Here he is claiming that Joe Biden doesn't know how to speak publicly, before going on to suggest that FDR was chairbound because of a, quote, situation, and then going on to call him elegant, which is famously how FDR is remembered.
Stumbling, mumbling, didn't know where the hell he was. And then CNN, I watched CNN to see, I like to see what they do. They said that was one of the greatest speeches since FDR. FDR was a great speaker, right? He was a great speaker. He sat because of a situation, but he was an elegant, beautiful, elegant, and eloquent. That he was a great speaker, and they show him speaking, and rah, rah, America will be great. We were attacked today. You have to understand, now they showed this guy who can't put together two sentences, and they say, that's one of the finest State of the Union addresses since FDR. And it just drives you wild.
Here he is suggesting that Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary, is the President of Turkey.
I was very honored as a man. Viktor Orban, did anyone ever hear of him? He's probably like one of the strongest leaders anywhere in the world. And he's the leader of, right? He's the leader of Turkey, fronts on both Russia.
Or maybe you'd prefer the little collection of Trump moments where he suggests that Jeb Bush got us into the war in the Middle East, that he defeated Obama in the 2016 election, that Obama is currently the president, or that World War II hasn't happened yet.
But I know you never paid, under your administration, you guys never paid ransom.
Brian, it's all coming through Iran, and Obama he doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't even mention them in his statements. It's all coming through Iran.
Well, you mean President Biden. So But right now,
I also mean Obama.
what do you mean?
I mean Obama and Biden, but Obama is Biden's boss, in case you didn't really know that.
As you know, crooked Joe Biden and the radical left thugs who have weaponized law enforcement to arrest their leading political opponent, and leading by a lot, including Obama. I'll tell you what, you take a look at Obama and take a look at some of the things that he's done. This is the same thing. The country was very divided. And we did with Obama. We won an election that everyone said couldn't be won. We beat Hillary Clinton. Now, you know, I used to call her Crooked Hillary. And then they took a poll and they found out Trump was up by about 50 points. Everyone said, what's going on right here? They thought Bush, because Bush supposedly was a military person. Great. You know what? He was a military. He got us into the Middle East. How did that work out, right? But they all thought that Bush might win. Jeb. Remember Jeb? We have a man who is totally corrupt and the worst president in the history of our country, who is cognitively impaired, in no condition to lead, and is now in charge of dealing with Russia and possible nuclear war. Just think of it. We would be in World War II very quickly.
And look, the point here is not to get into a pissing match about which politician makes more mistakes. The point is to highlight the dichotomy between how the media covers Trump and how the media covers Biden. Because I'll tell you what, Biden knows who his predecessors are. He knows when World War II happened. He knows why FDR couldn't walk. He probably doesn't claim that his wife Jill calls him sir. And by the way, if Biden did do any of these things, don't doubt for a second that it would garner wall-to-wall coverage on right-wing media. Biden could misplace a modifier in a sentence, and you'd have Hannity, Judge Jeanine, and Jesse Waters trying to get him admitted into a mental institution. But when Donald Trump does it, suddenly those staunch defenders of cognitive ability go silent. How convenient. And by the way, it's not just right-wing media, it's the mainstream media as well, which is more than happy to take their cues from the right. As soon as Fox starts wailing about Biden's mental state, the rest of the networks dutifully pick it up, because if they don't, they'll be labeled the liberal media, and we couldn't possibly have that. And so instead, they take their marching orders from the propaganda outlets on the right, and what we're left with is endless coverage of Joe Biden, who, again, has helped save the US economy as some doddering old fool, while that same coverage presents Donald Trump, who may or may not know what year it is, as the image of youth and vigor. I'm sorry, but give me an absolute break. So while the rest of the media is content to do the Trump campaign's bidding, I won't. And whenever Trump does the exact thing that he and his mouthpieces pretend that Biden is doing, I'll point it out every single time. And hopefully it'll become apparent that when it comes to the GOP, every accusation is a confession. Before you go, I need some help. Please subscribe to the channel and do your part to help grow the progressive media ecosystem. I don't do sponsorships or paid ads, I won't ask for money, but just subscribing to this channel goes a really long way, and it helps get the message out to more people. The subscribe button is right here on the screen. You can also subscribe to my Spanish language channel, which I made to reach those crucial Spanish-speaking voters. That link is on the screen too. And finally, if you want to listen to my audio podcast, you can follow that link as well. Thanks so much for watching.